Hey, just doing another comment response video today. We left off with Chosen on our last one, talking about the receipt, CVS receipt video. So I just wanted to add that I'm going to try and finish all the comments today, but then I'm probably going to respond to comments from subscribers after that. I mean, not probably. Absolutely. I wish there was a way to only allow comments from subscribers, or at least comments from people who actually have watched the video. Seems like there should be a setting for that. Alright, so Coded Friend, one of our less intelligent, less inventive speakers in the troll world, has another one. He says, Little Chilito, aka Chili, aka Jose Maria de Castro, titled his replay of your video as an expert breakdown. Can you tell us what expertise you have for the sake of clarity and honesty? Yeah, watch my last video. I said it. Augusto Pinochet. He won't answer what his qualifications are. I have more qualified than you all. Robert Scott says, no answer equals no expertise. And Belgar says, it appears he had no legal education except for being a Chile supporter. He's totally on Chile's side regardless of the facts. Yeah, and that would be your understanding because you don't know what you're talking about. Love all things daddy. The idiot in the courtroom definitely sounds like a sovereign citizen. Grossy, are you a sovereign citizen too? Double grossy, you subsets are absolutely mentally deficient. So he's talking about Drekti. I don't know if he's a sovereign citizen. I'm not very familiar with the movement. I am not a sovereign citizen. Chile is said he has designed and patented a torture-free hand restraint, yet provides no details or further clarification when asked. Oh, well, this is Augusto Pinochet again. And I should stop saying that. It probably means like small dick or something. I'm just going to say Augusto from now on. Chile said he has sued a lot of cops, but doesn't provide further information on when and where after being asked directly. I don't think that's true, because he said. So, you're not watching the videos. You're just making shit up. And Belgard says, his first lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice. You're responding to Augusto about the you've been served. So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think that Chile has filed a lawsuit against Kate and Josh that was dismissed with prejudice. He hasn't even, as far as I know, the first lawsuit. I mean, again, this points to your ignorance and what you're talking about, as well as the law. This is the first lawsuit he's filed against them. The second one against the police in Ironton is headed that way because he has no damages and the rest was lawful. So, I saw the rest video. It was not lawful, but I am not aware of his lawsuit. I don't know what's going on with it. I haven't seen it. That is the only lawsuit of his against cops. Sounds like you're the expert, right? You know more than Chile does on what lawsuits he's filed. Maybe you should stop practicing law. Oh, interesting, because you say he's practicing law without a license in Texas and Ohio. And has been reported to the Ohio State Bar regarding this. Yeah, I don't. Again, it's too bad you don't know what you're talking about, because you're allowed to represent yourself in any state you're in, and then the Ohio State Bar isn't going to give a flying, you know what. Augusto says, oh, sorry. Delete comment says, we don't even need restraints, Playboy. So delete comments apparently just likes to mock Chili in the comments on my video, so I don't know, there's nothing for me to respond to. And Augusto thinks that it's hilarious though, because that's how brilliant his mind is. Natural Order, yeah, subscriber, I like your video. Or from Delete Laws, thanks. Thanks for subscribing and for liking my video. Alan Evanson says, OMG, I can't listen to your whining voice any longer. Chili is bad, but yours is doing my head. And somehow I doubt I really want to hear your voice. I'm glad I do not have to. Thanks for watching your videos. If you wish to continue torturing yourself, just keep doing it. I can't stop you. Virginia Cazares says, new supporter sent from Delete Laws, peace and love. Thanks, Virginia. Delete stupid stuff again. Blue 5 says, Chili Delete Laws sent me, he asked us to subscribe to your channel, but you didn't. But thanks for coming over. Blue 5. Anything for Selena's says, wait, you think Kate has the cult? Super obvious. And it doesn't even make sense, because it's not like she is charismatic. It's just that she's a little bit smarter and wittier than the rest of you, and you all want to be her friend. It's so cute. Ann Bogart says, if Kate had a cult, she isn't paying anyone. Not what I heard. Chili pulled the 25,000 professional trolls idea out of his butt. Huh. Well, I think you mean that you guys aren't trolls and you guys aren't making money for the channel. That's what Chili meant, but you aren't smart enough to figure that out. Poshizzle says, wait, we aren't in a cult? See? Poshizzle knows. Y'all are in a cult. She's one of the vice presidents. What do you consider trolls? Oh, Anne again. Are you using the Chili? Oh my gosh, Anne. You just can't stop commenting. You just need all of my feedbacks, huh? So, what do you consider trolls? Are you using the Chili version? Anyone who disagrees with him? Or are you using the crazy people who just make stupid comments version? So, Anne, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Kate is a self-described troll. The name of her channel is Mass Troll Mafia or something. You are a troll. I'm sorry that hurt your feelings. Maybe you should leave the organization if you don't like being one. Ann Bogard says, I didn't bother with this. This is my one on Facebook. Yeah, you probably shouldn't go back and watch old videos about class actions that you can no longer participate in. Not worth my time. I have in the past gotten several $100s from a class action against Walmart. I doubt it. So Tom Peters says, what an amateur channel with these ads showing up. I know, right? Can't believe how many ads San Joaquin shows on his videos. It's ridiculous. Ann Bogard says, he can't prove that Kate did anything in New Hampshire or at his place. in Colorado. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by prove, because this is a civil suit, so it's not beyond reasonable doubt. I think it's pretty apparent that Kate is responsible for vandalism going on and vehicles being stolen. She's not responsible for anything others do or say. Again, shows your lack of understanding of how the law works as well as actual responsibility. So he can't prove that she called anyone. Yeah, well, if she didn't, but I'm pretty sure she did, and so it'll be easy to prove. And she had her phone records from her cell phone provider that showed her calls. Yeah, that's how bright Kate is. Let me show you the cell phone records from my one phone where I don't make illegal calls from, because that'll prove that I don't have a burner phone. Just dumb. She just can't be honest, even with herself. She has her employment records that show when she was at work and how it's impossible for her to also be in New Hampshire and Colorado. Yeah, I don't know where you heard that. That can't be true. She, as far as I know, she manages an apartment complex. So it's not like she's punching in and out, and it's not like she's punching in and out in the middle of the night, and it's not like someone couldn't punch her in and out. That's just the most ridiculous thing, Anne. Anne says, again, did you even watch the video regarding the Memorial Day parade when Chili was yelling at children, telling them that cops were bad and were going to rape them? So you're fine with what Kate does, and you're saying she's exercising her free speech, but you're not fine with Chili exercising his free speech. But no, I've heard you guys claim that he was telling kids that cops are going to rape them. I have not seen the video, but it is his right, and it's probably true. Several young girls were actually crying because they were so afraid. I doubt it. I don't think there's a video of that. Show me it. The video where he pushed her, actually put his hand on her and pushed her several feet when she was just standing there. So I saw the video of the supposed push. You just like to exaggerate because there was no movement of several feet. I won't even call that a push. So she was there to disrupt his acts, so he stopped scaring children and instead put his attention on her. So that's not the case, right? She went there to troll him in any way she could. Maybe that's what she told the court. That's not even what she told the court, though. She just tried, I don't know. She said that he was yelling at little girls. She didn't say that she was there to stop him doing that. You actually are trying to find ways to support Chili. That's probably true. It's because obvious that you're going overboard to support Chili. That's not true. I think a lot of people are going overboard to support Kate, even breaking the law. And you guys just keep escalating it. It's ridiculous. You guys have no lives. He's homeless with no assets, so suing him for legal costs will give them nothing. Again, I don't think that's true. There's an address on the court documents of his domicile. Shows how dumb you all are. And says again, OMG, at 119 on this video, you're actually demonstrating that you don't believe anyone but Chili. Well, when Merbeast and Law Talk with Mike covered the restraining order bench trial, I they were being ignorant and presenting a very biased opinion, and I was opposing their biases. I was not. I was trying to be actually rather neutral. That people really need to pay attention to how that the magistrate didn't know what she was doing. Have you even watched her channel when she explained about her ex-husband and her 2 children who she gave up? Yeah, I've watched a lot of her videos. I don't know what her ex-husband and her 2 children has anything to do with anything. Obviously not. You just accept whatever Chili had told you as truth without any investigation or evidence. So, first of all, I don't feel bad about Kate because she can't be a good parent and keep her kids. It sounds like you have huge, big ol' hearts for her and feel sorry for her, and so are over here on leaving comments here going on about legal stuff that you don't know what you're talking about. At least Chili didn't, mess up his kids' lives. And as an RN who practiced, oh my God, I doubt you're an RN. And then, that gives you any credibility to talk about anything. So, and you're saying it's impossible for the state to mandate medication because you're an RN. That's just a ridiculous correlation you're trying to make there. So I'm pretty sure that the state can say if you don't take your meds, you're going to lose your kids. Even individuals who are institutional residents can't be forced to take medication. It sounds again like you don't have any experience with that. Anne says he lied to the judge. The sign actually was Kate's tea party. The sign was actually Kate's tea party. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he lied to anyone about what the card was on his door. I don't know where you're getting that. You're just blind follower of the Kates. He eventually shows another video. The dog poo was actually Nutella that he bought for his birthday. Again, you're not paying attention. Oh my gosh. So there was a dog. I don't even think it was dog poo. He didn't, no one knows what type of poo it was, except the person who put it there. So there was a bag of poo on the porch, and then there was some type of chocolate, possibly Nutella, on the doorknob. You were saying that it's the Nutella that he bought for his birthday? You're just ridiculous. You're talking out of your butt. And you're saying he lied because you're making crap up. That doesn't agree with the crap you're making up. And you should probably not come to my channel, because you're not getting more responses unless you subscribe. It's actually surprising that he's been able to serve her correctly according to the laws of Massachusetts after screwing up all the other lawsuits he's filed and tried to serve. Again, you talk on your butt. I don't think he's failed to serve anyone. He refuses to pay attention to the laws of the state he's suing, and it sounds like you don't know what you're talking about, and think you do, which is sad. And because you're an RN, you should know. You don't know anything about what you're talking about. And then someone, I mean, you claim to be an RN, you don't claim to be a legal expert, but you seem to pretend like you know more than me. Because you just so dumb. Oh my gosh, you're so dumb. He refuses to pay attention to the laws of the state he's singing, and then someone has to serve the summons properly later. You know what you're talking about. And I think I know what case you're referring to, but you're wrong. Kate was served correctly at the courthouse. The summons that she tore up was properly served. In one case, he left the summons with the individual who wasn't authorized to accept it. Again, it sounds like you don't know how service process works. That's definitely okay. Ran into the industrial. I mean, not okay to leave it with someone who's not authorized to accept it, but it sounds like you don't understand who's authorized to accept. Ran into the industrial a few minutes later and didn't bother to try to actually serve them. All right. You're just probably making crap up now, but send me a link. I keep saying send me a link to these videos, and you guys don't. So I don't even know why I bother responding to you guys. I don't think you guys are watching my responses. The laws for every state are online, but he's too lazy to do research. Oh my gosh. Exactly, Anne. Go read the laws. You know what you're talking about. The Castrol's Troll Farm Inc. This is definitely one. Oh, I swear I answered this one already. Yeah, I don't think Fred has goblins. They're not real. Augusto Chile is a So that's I don't know. I think, Augusto, just the number of comments you've left on about Chile, calling him names that aren't protected free speech, would qualify as harassing. Like, I think Chile can get a restraining order just based on the comments you've left on my videos. So, Kevin for Nerdy. Supporting Chile tells us all we need to know about you and your supposed legal knowledge. Because those are exclusive and correlate. Also hilarious, you referred to Kate's subscribers as her cult, as if any of us are being ordered around by her. You should read more about cults and how they work. Sounds like you don't. It's hilarious. I mean, it makes it so obvious that you are in a cult when you say that. They don't make us do things, so I can't possibly be in a cult. Because I want to be here and I want to get notoriety in the group by trolling people. We think for ourselves. Probably in the best manner that you're capable of without a leader. Something Chile sucks don't know anything about. I would be laughing at Chile's idiocy with or without Masshole. Now I'll be laughing at you now too. I bet you would. You just wouldn't have a platform for your mass trolling feedback. So why don't you leave Masshole and troll us individually? Because you can't do it. My Vin. Because you just got to pump that fellow troll hater right directly into your veins. Paul says, my Vin is on the registration sticker in the window. I'm not familiar with that. My Vin is etched in the windows. on my car. So, that's interesting. I don't know why. I don't know. Is there a state that requires that, or are there dealerships that are doing that? Doesn't make sense to me. And then, who was it that said I say that a lot? I do say a lot. Can't imagine why anyone would do that. Kevin again says, how about a video on vexation litigation? That's a good idea for video. Note that down. Something like, what if a lifelong grifter with librarian glasses were to file multiple frivolous lawsuits and request protection orders to retaliate against people who hurt his feelings? You think you could do that? It's interesting that you pretty much describe harassment, right? Hurt his feelings. Yep. Do that on a repetitive basis, it's harassment. Steve K, this is allegedly Team Skeptics acronym TTU. K always wins. Yeah, but does she? So a lot of her followers think she does, but she lost several times against Turtle Boy, and we know how brilliant of a legal mind Turtle Boy has. And she's not gonna win the federal defamation lawsuit. It's clear that she's not even trying. She allegedly has $18,000 and just doing nothing with it, not even hiring an attorney. Thinks she's gonna represent herself and win again, but she's gonna have less luck in an actual civil trial versus a cluster F of a restraining order bench trial by ignorant judges. So Monorail says, so you made a channel called Discussing Law, and you're clearly not an expert, even amateur, regarding legal knowledge. Monorail, I'm just going to stop right there because you haven't been paying attention. If you're of that opinion, then you don't know what you're talking about. The picture on Kate's community channel is not stalking. Nothing. Again, I'm assuming this is the picture of the card that Kate or one of her associates left on Chili's door. And it looks like you need to go look up what stalking is. How exactly has Kate harassed Jose De Castro? So it's not like you're gonna even care, right? If I clearly define it to you, you're gonna just keep being on the Kate bandwagon. But if you read up what harassment is, which is basically unprotected speech, such as calling him names, specifically names that have no purpose other than to harass him, and then you do that multiple times, it's harassment. And I think you probably have to watch 3 videos to see 3 instances of that. I mean, to see occurrences over multiple days. You probably only have to watch 1 video to see 3 instances of it. It sounds like you don't know what you're talking about. So I'll actually cop to being surprised because I've never encountered a supporter of Chile as intelligent as you seem to be. Thank you. In my experience, none of them are. That said, I'm not even sure you're a supporter of his. You might be just critical of how the judge ruled on certain things, or you might just not personally like Peter. I don't know. So, as far as the Kate v. Chile fight, I'm definitely on Team Chile, right? Kate is definitely in the wrong, legally and morally. And then as far as the Chile versus depletion of our civil rights, definitely on Team Chile for that. I think Chile gets very angry publicly at times, and I think he lacks the filter that probably a lot of people do. But I don't fault him for that. He has strong emotions about what he's talking about, and he's the one brave enough to do it. But I will say I do not think Jose is confused around the timestamp above for the same reasons you are. Jose can confused and remain confused throughout because he has no idea what he's doing. He purports to be a victim of stalking when really he wants to silence his critics. He's cosplaying as a victim to silence dissent. None of this should even be happening. So it sounds like, yeah, he could have been better briefed on basically how to present his case, regardless of what the judge said. But you kind of still have to blame the judge because he shouldn't have had to. And he's definitely a victim of stalking. And Kate and probably Team Skeptic as well are contributing. Violent Wings says, my mom would never lie for me on anything, but especially not a legal matter. To each their own. Maybe he's moved out since he only needed to live there while on probation. Of course, that's purely speculation on my part. Nothing wrong with living with an elderly parent, as it can be mutually beneficial. So, my mom definitely would lie for me. I wouldn't ask her to. It's 12/19. It's not true. He has never marked Jose's location and dispatched anyone from her troll farm after him with harmful intent. It's never happened. I believe it has, and I think again that you've probably not been invited to the Discord. So I can state with first-hand authority, no one really gives a crap where Jose de Castro ever is. Then why do you guys reverse everything, every little piece of intelligence that he lets out, and just try and use that to figure out where he's at so that you guys control him? Once it became clear that he had convinced himself he had been literally followed, Sean the Airbnb bandit, it became really funny for us to geo-guess him. Is that what you guys call it? So see, it sounds like you're admitting it. No one cares where he's at, but we're gonna find out where he's at to troll him because it's funny for you. Yeah, it's amoral and illegal. That's the price he pays for publicly live streaming his life. The price he pays for publicly live streaming his life. I'm glad you can justify it that way. Still illegal. So not that it's hard for anyone to pinpoint him. He usually does all of the work himself. No, I don't think you putting together all these little tidbits of information to try and track down his location is him doing all the work himself. It's trolling and it's harmless. Sometimes I'd say it's brilliant. For instance, the guy in Australia who called the Midwestern coffee shop Jose was at. Oh, so you guys know within the group who in your group did that. That's awesome. I'll pass that information on to Chili, and we'll see if we can't find out who that is through a subpoena. Coffee shop where Jose was unbearably creepy to the female employee. I doubt that's true. I doubt you have video. But you infer that you have some facts. Defamation. Oh my gosh. I just can't believe you guys can try and justify that. You're trolling because it's fun. It's just really, really pretty crappy. The scales are not tipped in your favor, is the saying. Oh, thanks. Violent Wings. Violent Wings says, Cohen versus California was a man wearing a jacket that had F the draft on the back. He had actually taken off the jacket and had folded over his arm before walking into the courtroom. So no, it wasn't disrupting the court nor contempt. It was ruled freedom of expression. People tried using the case as freedom of speech, meaning they are allowed to speak the F-bomb in court, but they would be incorrect. I totally agree, Violent Wings. It's exactly what I said. It's fine to throw court cases, but you should probably be more familiar with what the case law is actually supporting when you do it. So hopefully DirectD now knows the difference. Minolti's sober companion. So so nobody knows who did that. It's equally likely that Jose and Zane are responsible as much as anyone else according to the evidence available. Yeah, maybe you can make it onto the jury trial and you can decide that, but I think the majority of the jury are going to find it's highly likely, based on credibility of the parties, that it's going to be found that Kay and her associates did that. It's bizarre how Jose clearly expects the judge, as well as the rest of the world, to simply believe him when he says Kay and her troll farm were responsible. I don't think it's bizarre. He definitely should have had more credibility in the judge's eyes than them, and he should have been allowed to introduce his evidence. Personally, the entire incident bores me as much as the Telegate, and I think it's likely just ingenuous. Yeah, I don't know what incident you're talking about. Could have been you. Just saying. I'm fairly certain it wasn't you. He's probably referring to the Nutella incident. Could have been me. It was not me. Yeah, hopefully there'll be a video. Hopefully Kate subpoenas it herself. Not that she knows how to. So, I'm not a lawyer. I suspect you got some type of training. Thank you. So McNulty, who I've been ragging on this whole time, saying doesn't know what he's talking about, seems to be one of the few trolls who actually can admit that I seem to know a little bit what I'm talking about. But I thought that question from the judge was odd too. I still do. Yeah, I'm assuming, I'm not click on the timestamp, but I'm assuming this is where she asks him, tell me why I should grant this restraining order outside of what you submitted in your paperwork. Not sure where she was going with it. Characteristically, though, of course, Jose jumps at the opportunity to incoherently pontificate and babble. Yeah, he was doing his best to add additional testimony outside what was in the papers. He was unprepared because, he shouldn't have had to be prepared to provide additional testimony. Still not sure what position you're at here discussing law. Are you guys just very against what you consider stalking and harassment online? Is it a personal thing against Abrams? Maybe you sympathize with Jose because it appears to you that he's being bullied. So, what Kate and them is doing is definitely wrong, and I think if Chile had been better prepared, he could have won those, maybe. I don't know. This case or this restraining order hearing specifically with that magistrate that didn't know what she was doing. I don't know if that could have ever went well. Is it a personal thing? So as far as being a personal thing against Abrams, I've not watched a single video of his, unless he's appeared in one of Chile's videos or Kate's videos. I have seen him in court admitting to being a seven-time felon, so I don't think that's something I would hold against him. So maybe sympathize with Jose because it appears to you as though he's being bullied. Yeah, I think Chile deserves justice, and I think everyone does. It's that the case. If that's the case, then I'd point out that from just two of his moderators, I've seen more blatant threats of physical violence than our entire side combined. That's interesting. Send me the deets on that. But I know that there were definitely threats of violence from Team Skeptic. But again, right, violence doesn't describe necessarily stalking and harassment, physical violence. And as for Jose himself, as we all saw, he hit Kate twice. So I think that's reaching. I can't justify touching someone intentfully without their permission. I do believe that Kate did it to Chile as well. I think she touched his shoulder, which they're both battery. They both should have tried very hard not to do that. I know that in the heat of the moment, it's sometimes difficult not to. You're the only person I've seen online defending him who seems worth actually talking to. I'll give you that. Thank you. You're the transparency unicorn. That's hilarious. I think I put enough comments up here tonight. Thanks, Mingolti's Sober Companion. I've enjoyed our discussion. I'm trying to think of the word where a discussion is not is held in a sequential manner like this and not in real time. I can't think of the word. You, J.J. Thomas says, you discussing law makes as much sense as your buddy Chile discussing law. I don't know. So I think Chile doesn't have a formal law education, but he knows more about civil rights law than I do. It's obvious that you are biased to Chile, who is only a constitutional law scholar because he has subscribed that title to himself. It's valid. You should go look up what those words mean. Again, you should go. He's neither constitutional nor a law scholar, is what you say. which makes no sense, because I agree that Chile is not unconstitutional. It could be more obvious from the countless failures in court. Yeah, I don't know how many civil rights lawsuits he's filed so far, but I think the one he filed in Ironton still pending. And to claim any title with Constitution on his part is disgusting, considering he continues to advocate for suppressing others' free speech. And I don't think that's true, unless you're referring to people who come and comment on his live streams, just trying to troll him. But I'm pretty sure that almost everything that could be described as trolling is not protected free speech. That hasn't worked, so now he wants to sue the judge because he lost, which again is laughable in itself. Blind leading and blind Chile and his followers. So, I wouldn't sue the judge, but so personally, I think he's moved on from that. He's probably gonna file a restraining order in his home state. It sounds like. So, but if he wasn't going to, I would have recommend. I imagine. I'm possibly speaking my butt here, but if that hearing was in front of a magistrate, it's possible that court automatically allows appeal to be heard by a judge. And then there's the whole motion to reconsider, and then there's appeals. But definitely a complaint to the Juris Council would not be inappropriate in this manner. Not then it would have any effect other than to embarrass her, which is probably valid goal. So JJ again. So speaking of credibility, should the fact that Chile has an outstanding warrant Sorry, I was looking at how long my video was, and a pop-up head went over it, so I had to close it. Speaking of credibility, should the fact that Chile has an outstanding warrant go against his credibility? No. According to statute, he would have to be convicted before it could count towards his credibility. Should his record statements of not caring about winning in court, he just wants to drain Kate and Josh financially? Nope, that's totally valid. You should watch my first video where I covered Murbeast's critique of Chile's federal defamation lawsuit. So that's usually one of the goals of filing a defamation lawsuit. It's definitely, you're entitled to doing that. He didn't have any witnesses there. Zane was there, and Zane, who supposedly was scared of Kate and had a temp HPO against her, was there, and of course he lost that this past week in court. Yeah, I don't think he had any. Well, I think Zane could have been a witness, but Chile wasn't even there. Chile had the witnesses ready to testify remotely, is what I understood. Broussard, actual subscriber. This is great. It wouldn't surprise me a bit that she's a total fraud. She totally is. She's at this point. It's clear that she's even lying to herself. Kate says, "You're a real genius. You figured it all out about the fundraiser." I know. LOL. I wish you would just come out and admit it. to Smile Kyle. Nope. Is this the actual Smile Kyle or one of the many socks Chile has fallen for? I don't know what that means, and it's not to me. Christine to Troll to Kate says, one of Cholito's boys. Christine Lovelace to Smile Kyle says, sorry, I don't know your mom. I don't know. It seems like there was a comment that got deleted. Lana Del Gay to Smile Kyle says, gross. Kate Delete Law says, Kate, you're right. I'm bad at TRO hearings. Where I'm good is tort law. We will have to go into mediation. This week I file a restraining order against you here in LA, and I'll get it. Oh well, the moment you actually engage with an attorney, they will tell you to remove all the videos about me and begin mediation. I suspect that's already happened, but Kate's too stubborn to do that, which is why she can't find an attorney to do what she wants to do instead of what she should do. I love tort law, Katie. You're done, honey. And I agree. Specifically, Chile's going to have much greater advantage based on his history of not speaking well in court, in the federal court, because a lot of decisions in federal court are all in writing. You're not even guaranteed a right to oral. That's funny. Oral. I love... You're done, honey. I believe Zane is suing you as well. Interesting. I'll never stop. You will remove every video and you will pay me. I think that's where it's headed. I think every video about him is going to be removed, and there is going to be some payment to Chile. Chile seems to be pretty stubborn on wanting an apology, and that's unfortunately not something that usually comes with the settlement. So I don't think he's going to get everything he wants. He's going to have to compromise a little bit as well. So, did I get all of those? No. So, Lena Delgay 13 to Smile. Your words are vile. Try some self-reflection instead of just repeating bull you hear online and not knowing any part of themselves. I hope you grow some empathy for your own sake. He must have, whoever this Smile Kyle is, whether it's fake or real, I don't even know who this person is supposed to be. Obviously deleted their comment because I did not. But apparently it was vile. Lisa to delete law. Since you're good at tort law, can you point to the other suits you filed and won? So, it should be pretty easy, Lisa. He has a pretty unique name. I've pulled them up. I've seen ones he's won. So, stop being lazy. Wondering to delete laws. What empty building in Carlsbad will you be live streaming from tonight? Chile. I'm sorry that your stalking has continued on to my comment section. So we're 53 minutes. I was hoping to make it through all of them because I really didn't want to do this again. Paul Berry says, I'm a rude person and I contributed anonymously. So Paul, I don't believe you. It's probably not even your real name. But you could prove it. Possibly. I don't know. It'd be hard. There's so much photoshopping going on and editing of HTML. It'd be hard for you to convince me. But, yeah, it is a interesting theory that some of the anonymous donations were real. Probably not the ones that were over like $50. Scraps to Selby Bowen to Smile Kyle. There's a convincing argument. Bill Same, and I'll donate twice as much next time she needs it until Chili gives up his childish tantrums. Yeah, it was fake. So donating twice as much as 0. So that's 0 times 2. I think you know that math. Hopefully, probably not equals 0, by the way. Delete laws to Bill. Oh, son, Tarot's in Boston. I'm bad. Plunder tort lawsuits. I'm good. I have help. Yeah, I mean, I read his complaint. It seems pretty solid. I think it'll like I mentioned pre-conference motion. I would hold up against that. Specifically, write up failure to state a claim. It's definitely written well enough to do that. So it doesn't even need amending yet, but I would still amend it because there are a couple issues. And I'm going to make a video on that. So, Bill to delete law says, loved your text exchange with Turtleboy. The whole thing unedited was really eye-opening. Go to his channel. He's outed you. 100%. Hey, how's those lawsuits against the judge going? You found those yet? Yeah, and I don't know exactly what's going on with the Turtle Boy thing, but I think Chili was justified in getting upset with Turtle Boy when he gave a thumbs up saying he was gonna go to court. Turtle Boy is saying that's thumbs up is not saying agreeing to something, but apparently he's an emoji noob. But in the last video I saw where Turtle Boy was talking about Chili came on to his live stream and was definitely the bigger man. If you haven't seen that video or that part of the video, you should watch it. For a guy, Zaner, the assistant, says, for a guy who's hiding out in an empty and abandoned beauty college attached to a gym in Carlsbad, New Mexico, I want to talk too much again. I don't know why you guys think this is appropriate to stalk him. So if I was Chili, I would talk to the feds already. I mean, just the wide breadth of federal cyber stalking that's going on here. I mean, it's worthy of a documentary on Netflix. I think once the feds get involved, you guys are gonna be toast. That's what I would do. So, I mean, and so many people would just be facing charges. So many subpoenas, so many people being found out, dragged out of their homes, out of their jobs at McDonald's or wherever you losers are working. It would be epic. That's would be my approach. Scraps to sell. We bowling to delete laws. You find any bats in Carlsbad? Talk a bit. More stalking. Christine Lovelace to scraps to sell. Be bowling or do get a bit. It's just toxic crap. So, at least to delete laws. If you're so good, why do you need help? Yeah, that's why Kate's looking for an attorney, allegedly, because she always wins. Like, why does she need an attorney or help? It looks like she's not gonna, and she is gonna go down. So Paul Berry says, I donated twice. I'll continue to donate until he's done. I don't know Kate. I've never met Kate, but I do recognize a bully. So, this is So I remember, I think, reading a comment by someone who was saying that they would match the donations that were sent to Kate to Chile, but that Chile turned it down because it was obvious that the amounts were fake and there was no way to prove how much was actually donated. So if you guys can have a real fundraiser and prove it, I mean, that's just one more dollar for Chile, probably, if the offer still stands. So Christine Lovelace says, Doofus, I'm real. Were you one of the names? The named contributors? If that's true, you are one of 4 people that actually put out your money because Kate was having a fake fundraiser. So you got scammed. Scraps, allegedly. Scraps to sell B. Bowen says, you're funny. Thank you. Peggy says, wow, you can make anything look fake, can't you? You're just as jealous as Little Pepper. So I just showed what was sent to me. And yeah, it looks pretty fake. Maybe next time do some research. Fundly allows you to donate anonymously so that your name is not shown by people like you. Not shown by people like you. That makes no sense, Cindy Lou. Who? Thanks for the vid though. I have the nose plague. I need to laugh. Call me. Send me an email. We can discuss law. Yeah, I agree that it allows you to donate anonymously. But the number of anonymous donations and the amount of donations doesn't make sense. I tell you what, Kate's fundraiser was just as real as Chili's. LOL by Biff. Chili's on tape, even in the latest video, saying how he's going to sue her over and over and over again until he drains her or gets his way by kicking her off the internet. Yeah, I don't think that's definitely not what he said. So I don't know. If you disagree, send me the link. No one's sending me links. How profoundly stupid do you have to be to put a video like this out? This is fake. I hope to God you aren't put in charge of anything more dangerous than string. So, stupid. I don't know. A lot of people viewed it and liked it, so just sharing the info that Kate doesn't want to share. So I guess we know who sent that email. Yeah, I think it's obvious. Whether you guessed right, I don't think you did. Gustle says LOL. I don't know. It looks like YouTube needs, instead of just liking a comment, you should be able to respond with like the Facebook emojis. Save Augusto some time. You could just put the laughing face emoji instead of having to reply LOL. If YouTube's listening, Lori says, I'm pretty sure I'm real and donated to a fundraiser she wasn't a part of. Suck it, Cholito. Lori, that makes no sense. Jervizda, I remember this troll from my previous comment videos. Discussing law, maybe you should hold off on discussing law until you're actually licensed and your opinion actually has some weight to it. Again, someone who's watching the videos who is a layman doesn't realize what credentials I have. But I'm going to say that's not necessarily true, because I don't know what you mean by licensed. So my law professors, most of them are not licensed attorneys, if that's what you mean. Lori says, he got the same education as Toledo. It's the blind leading the blind. Yeah, I addressed that in my video. I have more legal education than Murbeast. Unpaid troll. They won't be licensed until they legalize prostitution. So that shows how, I don't know what country and time you're living in, because that's a thing already. You can be a licensed prostitute. Laura Rader says, but surely the YouTube School of Laws will allow any idiot to declare themselves an attorney without requiring a silly thing like a license. Without requiring a silly thing like a license. That's how it works for driving your non-commercial car, according to the YouTube School of Subsidiary. Well, I agree. Anyone attending YouTube School of Laws, which you should do, Laura, so you might know what you're talking about. There is actually a lot of good material on YouTube, including my channel, where you might learn stuff if you would just open your mind instead of having little tiny itty bitty closed mind. But anyone's allowed to declare themselves an attorney. You can declare yourself anything. Lots of opinions. My opinion is you're delusional. I don't know what the evidence allowed you to come to that conclusion. So it's possible you're smoking crack. Stop smoking the crack, Christine. Bruce Gordon says, you probably should not give up your day job for forensic accounting in the immediate future. I agree. Would not be qualified. Gloria to Bruce, I think he done a good job. You guys just didn't like it because the truth is coming out about Kate keeping up the good work. People need to know what Kate is like. Exactly, Gloria. Thank you. It's funny that even when revealed that no one's eyes have been opened. Apparently, I mean, there's the inner circle, obviously, in Kate's group that knows that the whole fundraiser was fake. I mean, she did earn probably $180. It's possible some of the anonymous donations were real as well. She did not earn even $1,000. It would be my guess. I mean, it's clear that the fundraiser was just meant to troll Jelly, and it didn't work. I mean, it might have worked for a day, 2 days. I don't know. From what I know, he knew about this. Yeah, I sat on this information for a couple days because I thought he was going to cover it, but I did. Gloriad. Or Lori to Gloriad. Chili, is that you? Yes, your writing skills give it away. Learn some proper spelling and grammar. Says Lori, who forgot her question mark. So, I mean, that's kind of the lowest of the lows, right? I mean, you can't pick apart someone's argument. You pick apart their ability to use a tiny keyboard on a phone, which is usually the case, are the cause of these issues. So Paul Berry to Gloria says, I respect your First Amendment right not to use a spell checker. There you go, Paul. Paul's got it. Gloria to Paul says, don't come to my comments. Then some type of face. I wish they would make emojis bigger for us people, blind people. Gloria to Paul Berry. What? Because I lefted one letter out, you really hurt me. Don't come to my comment, Kate Troll. Right? Paul Berry to Gloria. I was simply protecting your constitutional rights against trolls who criticized your spelling. Yeah, I think Paul was being a little more friendly. Gloria. So Gloria to Paul Berry. Well, I'm not perfect and trolls aren't either. I don't care about them. I was just speaking up for what was right. Sorry if I left a letter out. I know I'm not the first. I'm sorry you thought you was making fun of me. Oh, I'm glad you two made it. So Bruce Gordon to Gloria says, I think most of what he said was opinion and not facts. Seems as easily possible to make an anonymous donation on the site. Yeah, again, you guys are focused on the wrong thing. It wasn't about them being anonymous. It was about, a large majority of them were anonymous, and then the ones that weren't anonymous were clearly not attached to a Facebook or a Fundly account. But you guys do you guys focus on, trying to tear apart, the facts that show that the world is not flat. Sorry, that the earth is not flat. So Gloria to Bruce says, but if it was all about chili, it'd all be true, wouldn't it? I just don't understand. Yeah, well, I don't know if this is exactly what Gloria was saying, but yeah, Chili's fundraiser is just as real as Kate's was. Biff says to Gloria, then why hasn't Chili showed his donations from Fundly? Was it a scam? Also, he's required to show them to show it's not a scam. And Kate didn't show them, definitely not accurately, which proved that it was a scam. Where are his receipts for anything he's done? Give us the receipts for all the things he bought for Tina Slate. Oh wait, he can't because according to her, it didn't happen. Again, Chili's fundraiser is just as real as Kate's. PIC Witch of Heart. I hope you take this as constructive criticism. You should really work on your narration. Even you don't sound convinced that this is fake. Yeah, it might just be the timbre of my voice because, and kind of me, leaving, protecting myself against defamation for the 0.000000000000001% chance that I am incorrect and that it's real. Wait, you didn't show the screenshot of Chili's gross and net. Why not? It's obvious. You're not a lawyer. Oh, because Chili didn't forge one of those, so I couldn't, and then share it on his YouTubes for me to share. Oh, that was JT Jones, by the way. Unpaid Troll says, these idiots think people are only real if they link their social media accounts to everything. We are not all narcissists like Chili. I did use my real name for the donation, though. I was hoping for a lawsuit. Unpaid Trolls, your real name? Okay, and again, watch the whole video. Don't skip words. What Virginia crazy says, what do you do in the dark? Will always come to light. Is it? Sorry. Virginia Cazares. I don't know what that means. I mean, yeah, I outed Kate. I mean, to her followers that didn't know it, but they refuse to believe it. I can't. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I think Kate's even lying to herself that it was real. Cindy Lou Who says, yes, it will. That is why Chile should stop his scams. So, again, defamation. Chile's not done any scams. Virginia, again, says, I do believe this video is based on Kate. Don't be so bitter. It ages you. To Cindy Lou. Virginia to... Or Cindy Lou to Virginia, I'm so sorry he was bitter. He is clearly showing a scam fundraiser page for Chile in this video to try and disprove the lady's fundraiser. No, rewatch the video. I don't think you know what you're talking about. Kate's fundraiser, I'm saying, was the scam. Chili's is just as real as Kate's, though. That's just a fact if you watch. And as for aging, weird comment. My family ages well, so no worries there, but thanks for the concern. Looks like Virginia did not respond to you. She probably says you're welcome. Lori to Cindy Lou says, it's just so funny how all the names on Chili's fundraiser page are the same as those on Kate's. Isn't that a huge coincidence? I know I did not give him a cent. Yep, there I am. Which person are you on there? It's interesting. Yeah, it's weird that the names are the same. It's almost like it's really easy to enter fake donations on a fundraiser. Delete. Oh, I'm not even going to read his comments anymore because he just... he pretends to be Chile, saying something Chile would never say. Virginia Cazares says, audio is low on this one. I know. I mentioned it. It's a funny story how that happened. My kid was on my computer, was messing with my settings. I did not realize after I record the video. A busy person, not going to re-record it. Maybe someday. Laura Rader says, now you're both a law expert and a technology expert, huh? I didn't say that, but more so than you. Funny how you think you didn't click through the fake Chile funding page to view his fake donors and track his fake money through the funding process. Well, let's do that now. So you must have missed this link. Because it's not fake. It's completely real. I don't know if you noticed. The URL was on my video. You could have typed it in as well. But I'll click. It's not fake. Look. So there you go. I was not faking the page. Probably because the Shelly Fundraiser screenshot was obviously fake screenshot, so I just showed you it wasn't. No actual click-through capabilities. Oh, just showed you. Laura, pay more attention. The pompous Sarah Marie says, okay, so you think that someone would go through great effort to re-edit all those screenshots? There was just one screenshot, but then flake on working out the world's easiest fucking percentage point. Obviously. So it was one screenshot, and yes, they were lazy and stupid. The delusions are grand with you, my son. If you would just, alright, keep believing whatever you want, can lead the horse to the water, cannot make them drink it. In this case, Kate can lead you to the Kool-Aid and make you drink it. So, Chuck G says, you're not too bright. I bet you have a closet full tripods too. Maybe. I think my family members would not appreciate the waste of a closet. Your detective work is as awful as your legal analysis. So, well, it sounds like you didn't watch the video because I said clearly it was not my detective work. I don't think any legal analysis was necessary of the video. It shows obviously that the fundraiser was as real as Chili's. Oh yeah, and he's foolish enough to post it all, says Augusto. So why does this video smell like Nutella? It doesn't on my end. It must be yours. That was Telecline. Scott Huber says, I don't know the answer to that question, but it appears someone removed a doorknob to the creator's home and he is a bit bitter over it. Yeah, I would be too. It's pretty much vandalism, illegal, trolling, harassment. If you think it's okay, I tell you what. Give me your home address, and I will send over an agreement that you sign that gives me permission to remove your doorknob at any random time that I like without any legal action, and see how you like it. So Augusto says, LOL, this channel is lame and Chili is a sketchy dude. Kate Ann says, Kate was sick that night, so wasn't on the live stream. I said that. It sounds like you're not paying attention. It's perfectly legal to donate anonymously, and it was a good thing. Again, you're not paying attention. It wasn't about the being donated anonymously. Because Shelly wanted to go after anyone who donated to her. Yeah, but is that true? It's kind of the opposite way around, right? I would expect every donation on Chili's page to be anonymous so that the trolls don't start tracking them down. Not everyone has a Facebook account. It's not legal to not have one. Again, you're not paying attention. They would at least link to a Fundly account or a Facebook account, is what I said. You can set your FB to private. Oh my gosh. Laura, you're just being dumb now. It has nothing to do with it. Biff says, yep, he's recoded in his Telegram group telling folks to dox them so he can sue them. A real tyrant. Happens all the time. People hire skip tracers to serve people. Not that it's required. You can also sue John Doe or Jane Doe. So, Biff, you don't know what you're talking about. Phoenix says, derp, 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 derp. Wouldn't someone that claims to discuss law know how to find the truth? Oh my god, that is one of the dumbest statements I've heard this year. Like, what do those two have to do with each other? Anyone that follows you should see right through the ignorance. I don't know if that's the case. So I think the people who are following me, which most of you aren't, are the few people who actually know possibly a little bit about law and know that what I'm saying is not FOS like you are. How about research the facts instead of making crap up? Present the facts. Don't need to research facts. Why must you pander to the... Sorry, Mendesem says, why must you pander to the other DL? You really couldn't tell that the chili funding was fake? No, it's as real as Kate's. I don't know why you keep saying that. Guessing that the someone nod who sent you these didn't also send you Chili's test funding? Hard to believe, just like Chili. I don't know what a test funding is. Cindy Lou Who, I'm looking into things. I am concerned that this young man is just going to be another victim of Chili's. I believe you are saying that Chili sent him this fake information to get him to do a video on Chili's behalf. I believe that as well. You guys need to be better. Just work harder, because I think I didn't do a very good job of hiding who it was, and it was not Chili. Or was it? So Augusto says, you need to do basic research on how this funding platform works before you actually jump up and post your analysis. Oh, Augusto, sounds like you don't know how it works, because I showed it in the video, and it seems like you didn't even watch the video. So please watch the video before you comment. Again, another stupid from delete comments. Getting close to the end here, folks. And responding to Kate being served with the summons regarding the lawsuit, Zane and Chili tried to serve her in the middle of court several times, even throwing the file onto her lap. And that's legal. She then, and I think the reason why, I wasn't there, but I think I know more about it than you, about what happened, because you don't seem to know. But yeah, they tried to serve her in the courtroom, which I think the reason why someone gave them a hard time about that was because they probably thought that it was summons to that court, which was a state court, and those summons can only be served by a constable. But Chili was serving, Chili's processor was serving her with a summons to a federal court, which does not require a constable. So there you go. Knock on. She was then served officially during a live stream. Yeah, people keep saying that, but I think that live stream is not. Most people in the world were not. Were too busy to attend that live stream. That live stream that supposedly this occurred on is not on her channel available to review after it was streamed. So I have no evidence that it actually happened. I think you guys are, if that happened. So I think what actually happened is she was served for the restraining order in a different video, and you guys are confusing them. So knock on the door, and she came back with the summons. Didn't happen any of the videos that are on her channel. I'm not on Discord, so I only watch her live stream. How do you do that? How do you just magically show up at the beginning and finish every single live stream? Because you maybe are you Kate? Are you Kate's live-in boyfriend? Yes, he tried 3 times to get the order. First time judge refused without a hearing with Kate. Second was denied, and the recent one was denied. It's obvious that you missed some portions of her live stream. Yeah, I missed it. Still, I think you're referring to a different video where she was served with a different summons. But if there is a live stream that is no longer on her channel, why is that? Why didn't she want to share that information with the public? Again, you guys denying that that video no longer exists, and that no, it occurred on the live stream. She's not trying to hide it, or is she? Because she pulled the video or didn't allow it to go public. It's just the logic in your all's brains is lacking. So potentially, criminal says I provided a full context if you click on the timestamp provided. I know, I'm not going to do that. I don't have time to in these videos. I enjoy how you respond to troll chat. Oh, I'm sorry. This is trolling harassment hotline. I enjoy how you respond to troll chat. So matter of fact, troll posts are comedy gold. Agree, full of hate and toxic. Many troll posts would provide a 4-year lesson plan on how to become an accomplished writer. That statement I didn't understand, but I appreciate the sentiment. So, Chili's Banana Bong says, oh, and this narcissist and his buddy Cholita are kind of wonderful people, right? I am a wonderful person. I believe that Chili has a heart of gold. And then delete comments again. Trolling harassment hotline. Hi again. I am just binge watching your channel. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry about the audio problems and many of them. Nima 19079 says you should check. Oh, a subscriber says you should check his backup. I will when I have time. I also need to watch some Josh Abrams videos. If you still don't understand why people don't like Chili after a statement about wanting children to get bone cancer would be weird. It's funny because I didn't see that video, but I've heard about it, and I've heard that he apologized. And I wouldn't be surprised after Masshole poked the bear 1 million times if the bear didn't show his teeth. So, has Kate ever apologized for trolling him? You should check his conversation with the judge. He admits his crime manufacturing. I don't think that's the case. Send me the video. Using and selling GHB, Chili has admitted it himself. I'm just going to say that this is defamation until you prove otherwise. You should do some research. You seem to have a hard time getting the facts. I look for yourself instead of asking others. No, I mean, you're the one presenting the argument. Prove it. Guess you want everyone reading here to help you and Chili. It's up to you. If you want me to believe it. Chili's Banana Bong. Exactly. I have a feeling these keyboard warriors like this sad guy, they have nothing else in life. No job. I'm sorry, but I just have I mean, I don't laugh out loud, but if I could, I would hear that the trolls, who obviously have nothing better to do with their lives other than try and garner favor with Kate, their goddess, is saying that I have no life, and it's just ironic. Think about it. This whiny voiced little guy. Oh, did that thing again. Maybe you're the guy that did this last. Calling me a little guy. I mean, you don't know how big I am. It sounds like you're one of those people that their brain has low IQ level, and so you have to solve things through intimidation and threats. Doesn't work over YouTube, so you should probably get off of it. So, anyway. Nina says, do you want people in the comments who actually know the truth and facts to do you and Chili's job? So again, I've watched all of Chili's videos that aren't on his backup channel and all of all of Kate's videos up to the point where he starts her war on Chili's well-being. And if there's stuff on the Discord and on videos that have been removed, I obviously don't have those. I don't know how else I'm supposed to get it unless you share it. Do some proper research yourself. It's not going to happen. Now, if you know something, then you shouldn't go out and accuse someone without facts. Facts are right there. Totally accused her. Raccoon Mama says, "Wahahaha, dude, pretty obvious why you idolize Chili. You both have equal knowledge of the law." Possibly. And it's interesting on why this might be true, because Chili has a good memory and I don't. So he's probably maintained more of it, even though I probably had more enter my brain related to practicing law. And then he definitely knows more than me about a ton load of case law where law has been overturned to be shown not to be constitutional, as well as case law where laws have been shown to not violate our constitutional rights, even though they clearly do. So the none is incorrect, Raccoon. Pay attention. Raccoon, again, says, "Fella," I'll tell a different video. "Fella, I hate to break it to you, but you're just making more content for the trolls to tear apart." Exactly. Oh my gosh. What did Kate say? I have to tell you exactly what she said, because it's my response here. She says, "You're a real genius. You figured it all out. LOL." I'm going to copy that, because I might need this. You're on to me. All right. You first reach puberty. So if you were aware of how puberty works, someone's voice cracks when they have reached puberty. So you should pay attention more in your health class in the 8th grades. Probably why you didn't is why you got pregnant or got lots of girls pregnant. And you're now a young baby mama, baby daddy. Second, stay away from the guy selling GHB and wishing bone cancer on kids. Again, not true. You felt the need to reply to the trolls and actually answered nothing. Yeah, that's not true. It seems again like you're not paying attention. It's obvious you're a Chili wannabe, and that alone proves you're a whack nut. Obvious. You do have to share why it's obvious that I'm a Chili wannabe, because I don't think that a reasonably intelligent person would have came to that conclusion. YouTube is not a job unless you're a Kate. Kate always wins. I agree. I'm not on here to try to make money, because I am making plenty of money already. Paul Carroll says, "Oh, and unlike Kate and Team Skeptic, I can get a real job because I don't have felony conviction that gets in the way. So I don't rely on YouTube funds." Paul Carroll says, "Perhaps you should look at CA 10802 VC. VC is vehicle code, which pretty explicitly prohibits covering a VIN number for the purpose of preventing the identification of a vehicle as you have described here. Covering a bin for the purpose of preventing the identification of a vehicle. So I don't think you're interpreting that statute correctly. I think you should go read it. I am familiar with it. Maybe check the laws themselves before encouraging people to break them. Yeah, the statute doesn't say what you think it says. But also, my CVS receipt accidentally fell behind the dashboard. So, not only that, you should read the case law. So, but I mean, you didn't because you. It's hilarious when people. First of all, you say, "I don't know nothing about law. I have had no law school. I went to the Toledo School of Law," and then you probably work at McDonald's and you're trying to give me legal advice after reading vehicle code. That is Dunning-Kruger at its finest. Criticizing a person's lack of understanding of law is not trolling, it is advice. Could be, but generally not. But are you saying that I'm not trolling? I'm not trolling Chili's. I'm not a member of Chili's troll farm because I'm not trolling. If that is the case, I appreciate it, and I would agree that I am not attempting to troll people. Delete comments again, ignoring them. So Robert Scott says, teaching how to break the law. You should talk to Paul. Robert says, I would be interested in hearing your response to this video. All right, I promise, Robert, that I will check this video out, and if there is some illegal analysis, it sounded like I said illegal analysis, that I think would make a good video, I'll cover it. Calibri font by Meh says, Calibri font, Calibar, you and Chili are familiar. You're hilarious, Meh. It sounds like you were listening to the video instead of watching it, because it is actually spelled Calibri, not Caliber. I do know the difference between those two words. Don't know if you do. So, but I appreciate, intentional misspelling. So potentially, criminal says this is some high-tier cope. He isn't going to win and won't get a default. So this is about my video about how to prepare entry for default. I think it's clear he's going to. As far as I know, Kate has not responded and her time is running out. And I am guessing that Josh has no intention of responding. So there's at least going to be one default. I will bet you $1,000 if you accept my bet before the responses are due. Hey, Mendesam from earlier, he says, hey, Chili Acolyte, did you not check the docket before wasting your own everyone else's time with preparing this application for a default against KP? The court granted her letter motion for an extension to answer or otherwise plead yesterday. What a suck-up. What, are you hoping Chili hires you to rep him? And before you go making another FRCP how-to video, you may want to actually read and understand it. That's a challenge from another person who probably knows not what they're talking about. FRCP Rule 55B1 does not apply to this action, and any default application in this case would have to be made to the court and not the clerk, because Chili's frivolous defamation does not seek a sum certain or a sum that can be made certain by computation. So Mendesam, Sounds like you didn't watch the video because I covered this. Even if Rule 55B1 it did apply, however, you would need an affidavit of the plaintiff showing the amount due, like a debt, bad word, rather than requesting a hearing to prove damages. Wow. It sounds like you should just shut up because you don't know what you're talking about. At 15:30. Oh my god. Oh my god. Again, go watch my video. That's all I have to say. It's clear that you should not be talking about the law, which you don't understand. But as far as the court granting her letter motion, word that you made up, for an extension to answer otherwise plead yesterday, that is, was not aware of that. But, I'm not familiar with the circumstances because, I doubt that happened. Actually, I doubt that happened. So, Mendesem, dude, pass up and admit that you drafted Chile's opposition to defendant's ex parte motion for extension of time to respond to complaint or alternatively to stay the order that Chile just showed and read from during his live stream earlier tonight, October 4th. I did not see the live stream. The case caption of his opposition is different from his complaint, but nearly identical to your application on this beautiful how-to video. Be careful, young one. Even if Chile is not compensating you for your work, you could get jammed up for assisting him. My unsolicited recommendation, dump Chile and concentrate on making scintillating videos on how to use CVS receipts in creative, if not slightly illegal ways. Peace out. So as far as me drafting Chile's opposition, I'm assuming this is the title. I mean, it's clear that I didn't do it because I would have used the word memorandum in there. But if that's not the case, maybe you're a real genius. You figured it all out. LOL. Peace out. Biff says, check out unlicensed practice of law. Don't get into legal trouble. Yeah, men, stop doing unlicensed practice of law. And says Chile has already been reported to the Ohio State Bar regarding his. Oh my God. But has he really? I'm not aware of that. But like it matters. He's not an attorney. He also done same in Texas and New Hampshire. Not true until you prove it. I would almost say, well, definitely that's defamation. So, but says under penalty of perjury, Holy Moses. In addition to the information drafted in the motion requesting for an order for default one, must include the exact date defendants had to answer the complaint. Not true. It's possible some rules say that. Definitely not the federal rules and this court's rules. In this case, the last day to and that's probably what you read, right? You just Googled it, read the first thing you saw. Some random court in California says that's required. Oh my God. You just sound so dumb already. In this case, the last day to respond would be October 6th, which is 21 days after the September 15th date of service pursuant to Rule 12 of the FRCP. Your motion is dated October 4th. Yeah, I don't know if you're saying that You shouldn't date motions the same date that you prepare them? Or that Chili should wait until the 6th to file his motion? Because I would agree that he should wait till this. Is it the 6th? I don't know if you did your date math right. No, I could be right. October 6th? Yeah, he should wait until October 6th, but he should also use the date that he types it up or prepares it. Nonetheless, your motion was premature. No, didn't even file it because defendant Peter filed for an extension of time. Her request was granted on October 3rd, giving her 30 additional days to answer the complaint or otherwise plead. So, those weren't the circumstances under which the advice was given in the video. So what you say is moot, and you're ignorant. Does submitting Anne? Oh my gosh, Anne, you're gonna really want to subscribe because I'm not gonna continue responding to you after today. Does submitting false documents and activity encouraging individuals to commit perjury bother you? Do you believe that is acceptable? Should lawyers or those who are representing themselves be sanctioned for doing that? So, it doesn't matter what I think because you are amoral and everyone who follows her is. But, so it doesn't even matter what I think. But I think you know the answer to that because I am not immoral. Biff says, I wonder what the federal government would do if they found out you were creating legal documents for someone without being in the legal profession. Just curious. Please don't follow anyone down the path of destruction that Chile is going. What would the federal government do? I wonder. Well, the federal government is an entity that would care. So Chewy says, check mark. Okay. Anne says, well, not Chewy, Chevy, like the car. Anne says, Chevy, are you one of the 13? I don't know what that means. Chevy to Anne, yes, the first written record was made by the Greek historian Herodotus, which dates back to the 5th century BCE. The van der Waals radius is 184 p.m. Friedrich Wöhler is the first to thoroughly describe 13. I heard she is, Courtney Dobbs says, I heard she is paying her lawyer with the monopoly money. Oh, that makes sense. That's why she can't get one. That's about as credible as your claims. Why is it so hard to believe that people support somebody fighting back against Chile? If you want to crunch numbers, why don't you look into Delete Lost channel with 47k subs and can barely crack 300 live viewers? I mean, Chile has pointed out that at least half the supposed viewers of Kate's live streams are fake people. But why do I care about that? Why should I care about that? It seems like you are the only ones that care about that. So Kate must be right because she has more live viewers of her live streams. That is stupid. And again, you say, you can't be a real lawyer, right? If you were one, you would probably know, because an actual lawyer would look at Chile's case and laugh. I think that's what's going on with Kate, actually. The reason she can't get one is because they are laughing her out of their offices. So you keep saying we, so are you actively encouraging Chile, a man who is clearly mentally ill, to continue down this legal path? If you were really supportive, you would tell him to stop this, seek help, and get healthy again. I'm sorry. You should go watch other YouTube how-to videos, because when they say we, I'm talking to the person who's watching my video, and we're going through a journey together. Buzzworks says you must be on Delete Law's legal team because you seem to be very unaware that Kate was granted a 30-day continuance. So swing and a miss, man. It shows how much you know about law, right? Continuance. It's not a continuance if it was even granted. I don't believe that's true because nothing of what any of you say is true. Doesn't really matter. Next time, instead of listening to Delete Laws and taking his word on what's happening with his legal case, you may want to do a little research so you don't look so stupid, but good luck with all this. So I don't know where all this information is coming from. Like, you guys must all be on the Discord, but I admit that I have not watched her last video, so I have not heard her latest lives. All right, so Steve says, firstly, service was executed on Kate on 9/15. Yeah, but was it? I think it was September 9th the first time, and then the second time was 9/15. And Josh Abrams on 9/16. Therefore, responses are not due until 6/10. Oh, this person must be from Europe or some crazy place. 10/6 and 10/7 respectively. Yeah, but are you sure? Because I don't think you looked at some of the exceptions. But I honestly didn't do the date math because I could care less. It's not what my video was about. Secondly, it was about how to prepare entry for default once the party has defaulted. That's exactly how you do it. Secondly, Kate Peter has been granted an extension, so you wasted your time. I don't know, because just if Kate, if this is true, which I doubt it is. What about Josh? So he can follow my instructions for Josh. And he can probably follow my instructions for Kate when she continues to fail to find an attorney that represents her. But I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Like if Kate made a motion for extension of time, then Chili obviously was conferred with about that. So you should talk to him about it, not me. So 3. Oh, and you're posting the electronic order. Huh. Again, must be from the Discord. I doubt you're on Pacer because you are dumb. And I don't know if it's true. So, Odin, anonymous equals person wishes not to give name out. Okay. Paul Carroll, to discussing now, why are you drafting legal documents for Chile if you aren't a licensed attorney? Paul, it seems like you haven't been paying attention. Feel free to check out the actual law on the matter while you are doing your legal research. I think he's high. Isn't BPC business procedural called? I don't know. I'm probably going to regret guessing what that is. So, Bobby Bishop says, damn, you really suck at this stuff. Give it up. That must be to someone else. And you're welcome. You probably didn't know how to prepare that document. So it's, again, Bobby says, it's well known that Chili Boy surrounds himself with idiots. You should be proud to have made the cut. Yeah, trolls will be trolls.